Hi guys! I'm your host Grace Chim, and today we will be exploring the latest sci-fi indie film, Risen. The film was inspired by a 2013 meteorite explosion in Chelyabinsk, Russia, bringing a fresh take to alien invasion stories. I'm going to break down this film, scene by scene, for all the deeper layers of meaning and discover the golden nuggets. Beware of the spoilers. The movie kicks off with a black and white footage of a US Air Force commander identifying flying saucers, skillfully setting up the world we are entering. Although it's not directly related to the story, I feel the director wanted to show that they have been visited in the past. Somewhere in the state of New York, in a rural town called Badger, we see a family getting ready for dinner, but soon a quiet evening turns into a nightmare when suddenly an explosion is heard outside, with a force that blows the family across the room. Soon it becomes clear that whatever it was that caused it has spread a toxic chemical, which results in a family suffocating, and they die one after the other. Back in New York City, as we're introduced to the protagonist, Lauren Stone, played by Nicole Shalmo, we see a breaking news about a mysterious explosion in Badger, killing everyone and everything within a 20-mile radius. A little clue was shown early on the story as the scene highlights articles about a 17-year-old NASA intern discovering a habitable new planet just on her second day called Planet Zen, unveiling the main character of this story, exobiologist Lauren Stone, on the verge of giving up. Before being requested by Homeland Security, we see Lauren submerged in a bathtub, being haunted by her childhood, having the first of many flashbacks of a man in the car, who was then later revealed as her dad. As shown in the earlier newspaper, despite being in trouble and possibly even suspended as a scientist for the DUI arrest, Emmerich confronts Lauren and says,
"Do you know why I chose you? Because I needed a believer."
We're dealing with something we haven't dealt with before.
Astrobiologist David Santiago and Lauren gets tasked to visit Badger and investigate the meteor crater. Lauren finds a red tiny sapling growing in the soil. Now this is the first time that she is showing her vulnerability, displaying some sort of connection.
Hey there.
She tries to pick up the plant and last minute decides to spare the plant's life. Lauren chooses to not mention the plant and takes a snap of it. While continuing her investigation, Lauren finds out a similar event occurred in Chelyabinsk, Russia. The meteorite released toxic gases into the atmosphere that killed almost everyone in the vicinity.
Зерна выросло дерево, но его потом срубили дерево, больше нет дерева.
And some kind of tree grew out of it, but it doesn't exist anymore. They destroyed it.
The Russian government suppressed the matter and destroyed the alien object. This suggests that Badger is a second attempt by the aliens to grow their life source on Earth.
This is a repeated event.
In this scene, we see an autopsy about to take place. It's the autopsy of one of the victims, Robert Windsor, who died earlier from the Badger explosion. As the pathologist cuts Robert open, there is an unusual black substance that comes out of him. Soon, the substance moves back upwards like a reverse effect.
He's healing.
Suddenly, the dead Robert sits up. Everyone is petrified and in a state of shock. Robert has no pulse and no blood pressure. It is an unprecedented event. A moment later, chaos breaks in the building, people are running away from something in the building, and we discover that Robert wasn't the only one who was reanimated. Out of the total population of Badger, only 49 people resurrected from the dead.
They came back to life, Tom. Dead bodies reanimated.
A scientist theorized that these 49 victims lived near the meteor explosion. They might have inhaled fragments of the meteorite that spread from the blast. It resulted in transforming their internal organs and altered their DNA.
I guess you can say it's a formation of a new life form within the human body.
The president decides not to incinerate these 49 victims, as suggested by Lauren, giving them more time to investigate. The second flashback reveals a deeper layer of her dad saying,
"We're going someplace secret. Now I need you to be a good girl and don't tell anyone. I mean nobody about our secret place. Not even mommy, okay?"
Something sounds off. Lauren enters a huge room filled with the victims. Somehow, she ain't freaked out and casually strolls around the room. Trying to communicate with a child victim, she receives a phone call from her other scientist partner, David Santiago. She declines the call, which then shows her phone screensaver of the tiny sapling from the site. The child victim sees the illuminated screensaver and reacts for the first time. For some odd reason, the 49 bodies were all facing north, where the meteorite impact took place. Could they be looking towards its mothership?
Colonel, it's breaking news. It's gone viral.
The breaking news reported an alien object growing exactly where the meteorite hit, revealing Lauren's little secret of the plan she discovered, and the victims are facing the alien object. The military takes the undead Robert to the tragic site to find answers smoking around the eerie extraterrestrial object. It isn't until their site visitation that we see the alien plant has now grown to the size of a skyscraper. The tree intoxicated the soil as well as the air around it, creating its atmosphere. But as soon as Robert entered the tree's atmosphere, he comes to life but as something else, and he starts communicating with Lauren. It is then revealed that the aliens seeded the tree to create an environment suitable for the species' survival.
Welcome to Earth.
While Lauren is seen at a press conference reporting the tree, the scene cuts to a mysterious man who watches Lauren on TV as a reporter says,
Is it true that you're on probation for DUI charges?
Didn't NASA know or predict anything about this? Surely someone would have known something.
Surely somebody knows something, and the camera stays on him as if he knows something. Back at Lauren's apartment, the phone rings as Lauren's psychologist tries to check in with her as she hasn't been attending her therapy sessions. Also, an important key is revealed here. The doctor also wants to talk to Lauren about flying and what it means. The shot slowly zooms to a photo of a bird. What does this mean? Lauren was unexpectedly visited by her dad, as you remembered from the flashbacks. She seemed terrified to see him again and extremely uncomfortable to be around. Although he didn't seem like an abusive man, he seemed broken and vulnerable. So why did their father-daughter relationship come to this point? Emmerich calls back Lauren as the alien specifically only wants to speak with her,
Seems it's found a friend in you.
as he hints at the pair of gloves Lauren's carrying, which shows that she cares about the alien. But Emmerich reminds her,
This thing, it's not like us. It is not human.
the alien possessing Robert narrated that his planet perished, and thus they were on a hunt for a new home.
Why Earth?
But their saplings didn't grow anywhere else except Earth. To reach Earth, they were given coordinates and information about the planet by one of humankind named Supernova 94. Sounds like a username to me. The alien seems furious as two men are examining the tree closely and drilling a device into it. He hypnotizes one of the men, and soon the military rushes in to stop him, but hell breaks loose when the alien turns the military against each other, and they start killing each other. The few who survived flee and clear the area. The Air Force sends a drone and launches missiles at Robert, but something is blocking the missiles, and it seems that they are exploding halfway and not reaching him. It is later revealed that the tree has created some sort of shield around it. Now we see the mysterious man again from Lauren's press conference earlier. A radio news of two reporters is played on the background mentioning Supernova 94. He reacts to the name and opens a book that has Supernova 94 written on it, along with a bunch of other codes. Could he be Supernova 94? After the failure to destroy the extraterrestrial plant, a montage of crops dying, earthquakes, and monstrous noises are shown as civilization are at their ends and prepare for doomsday. They have also shown that they are now choosing to incinerate the victims who rose back from the dead. In attempts to reconnect with her dad, Lauren visits her childhood home. Coming across her childhood shed, she begins to have an emotional attachment to it. She leaves and decides not to see her dad, but rather chooses to be around the alien. As Lauren walks in the serene, snowy fields, her voiceover kicks in, explaining the pain she feels of abandonment and not feeling like she belongs anywhere. She kind of feels a sense of relief as the world is coming to an end. Lauren arrives and ends up where the alien is. Somehow, it feels like he understands her pain and carries the answer. After hearing some noises under the ground, it's now clear that they are growing beneath us, while every eye was set to the skies. The alien reminds Lauren that she saved the plant, and when she was young, her politician dad had to visit a secret place, and that secret place ended up being Area 51, as there's another man in the car, and he talks about a UFO crashing, and they had to capture and kill a hostile alien. The alien's body is kept in Area 51. As Lauren and her senator dad arrive, he asks young Lauren to wait outside in a guard's presence. But after going to the bathroom, Lauren starts hearing some voices coming from a distance, and she follows the voices, which leads her to some officials talking to her dad about the alien trying to plant something. Oh, and they have an ability to fly. Lauren somehow finds the room where the alien is kept. She came into contact with an alien, changing her DNA into half alien and half human. Yup, you might have guessed it, she is one of them. As Lauren's DNA transforms, we also see a dead planet. Could this be planet Zen, when she found as a 17-year-old intern in NASA? From that day, Lauren stopped believing in the human race and she kept searching for her real home. Yup, this also explains her mute and such a robotic demeanor through the film. She is an alien, trapped in a human body. Young Lauren builds a communication device and tries to communicate with extraterrestrial beings whilst trying to find a username in attempts of not getting caught. She looks at a calendar that shows a picture of supernova and the year is 1994.
This is supernova 94. Do you copy?
After the reveal, Lauren is broken and sobbing as she finally finds out the answer. The alien takes her mask off, and being half human and alien, she's able to survive the environment without any hindrance or support. The dad also breaks down as he knows that something had changed Lauren in Area 51. Maybe he feels guilty. The mysterious man from earlier is a CIA worker who somehow has Lauren's line intercepting with his line, coincidentally able to take down notes of what Lauren has been saying.
9% nitrogen, 20.95% oxygen.
Can you hear me? Who are you talking to?
Remember the ominous sounds earlier? Those were in fact aliens inside these pods. While the aliens remain inside the pods, they release a toxic gas, making the planet habitable before they pop out.
Where do they come from?
These pods are attached to the roots of this tree, or you can call it a mothership, as young Lauren drew it and predicted. The tree expanded its territory and contaminating the Earth's soil through its roots. In the end, several pod-like objects appeared throughout the world and burst out black smoke that killed everyone around it. Soon, all earthly species and plants became extinct. The movie ends with Lauren saying, "I'm finally home." Her wings expand just as her psychologist in the earlier scene was questioning her bird wing images, which could be a symbolism of her transformation.